Shout out to all the Breeze super fans out there, man. Welcome into the Views from the Bleachers podcast. This your boy Pat, the designer, the pettiest man alive. Mr. P.Kidd is in a bit. P.Kidd in the building. You know, I got to do the point thing. If you're listening on the podcast side, man, you're missing out because you're missing all of the video content. Me and Kid just making stupid facial expressions and laughing. This is the chance we get to talk about whatever we want. Because, you know, YouTube be trying to, like, mess with us on that. They be like, you want to talk about the rest of the NBA? Nah, bro. But for the super fans, man, we want to do this for y'all. We appreciate you guys for being subscribed to the channel and being super fans. So you will get this once a week. Kid might not be on every episode. If he is, shout out to that. If he's not.
Hey, once a week, I could definitely make happen for the super
we can do it then. You know, we working out the schedule right now. But we also going to have more people on this mug as well. But we appreciate you guys for showing love to the channel, man. Any pre-show announcements you got coming up, Kid? Anything you got coming? I know y'all know I'm going back to work. So from the 21st on, the daily show will be pre-recorded. I have my wallet in my back pocket. That might hurt. Too much money, baby. I'm lying. As I'm saying, I'm going back to work. No, the show will be pre-recorded Monday through Friday, but we will still have a show Monday through Friday. You will at least get a 30-minute episode. I'm hoping to do an hour-long episode, but sometimes I'm gonna be tired. I think outside of announcements, that's it. Yeah, we'll be doing this once a week. That's pretty much it.
Of that, I'm also going to be releasing more content myself. That'll be on the Breeze Nation. I've already committed to that because we have to keep the train rolling.
Facts.
And you know, Pat has been the Giannis Antetokounmpo of this thing, so we might as well go ahead and support him in any way. Although I don't mind a Chris Middleton contract though. Thank you.
Hey, listen. That's the contract for when everybody turns on Zach LaVine. I'm gonna be like, even if you think Zach's the number 2, he's making less than Chris Middleton's extension is if you take his first contract into account. Don't worry about it. But
that ain't true.
no, Chris' first contract was 35. I think his first extension was 35, and then he got 180 on top of that.
It was 35 over like 2-3 years though.
Yeah, but then he got halfway through that, he got 180.
Yeah, halfway through.
That's that. Hey,
Zach, what was that contract?
Zach is 215.
Zach is 215. What was his contract before the extension?
78, 80, something like that. 78
Zach got paid more than Chris Middleton.
Zach got his.
Chris Middleton is a 10-year project for them.
No, Chris Middleton was on the same team though. Chris Middleton had bird rights, so they had different rights with Chris Middleton. But either way, hey man, I like doing a podcast like this, man. We can just come in here and just start talking about anything. Because the one thing I do want to talk about, I think that's pretty much it for the pre-show announcement, pre-game announcements, man. Let's get into the bleacher section in this mug, bro. We can start with a little sports. This podcast really can turn into any conversation, legit. That's why I love doing these. But I want to start with something here because Giannis Antetokounmpo came out on Serge Ibaka's. I almost want to call that a show. I feel like that's not a podcast because he's like cooking while he's doing. Yeah. So Giannis was on there, and Serge asked him about Wembanyama, and somebody who, when we look at him, we've never really seen this before in Giannis, where he's like Shaq and Kareem and a little bit of Wilt on the, like, all of that put together. Like, we haven't seen that player be built before.
Man, maybe Wilt with a better offensive.
Maybe Magic Shaq is the best comparison that you could have. Like dominance, agility, defense, all of that. Because Lakers Shaq wasn't playing no defense. But that man basically came out and said that Victor Wembenyama is something that the league has never seen before. And here is the question that I posed to the chat, the super fans, all of that. And of course, Kid, because he's going to be the one answering. How many teams in the league right now do you think are willing to give up a proven talent to go out and get Victor Wembenyama? I'm talking about a team where you look at it and you have a star level player as you go through it, age playing into it, whatever, right? Like the Lakers, would they give up LeBron to go get that pick, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many teams in this league do you think would dismantle their team to go get that player?
It's a very situational thing, man.
It's so situational because to me, right, like I'm looking at the Lakers, I'm like, I think the situation the Lakers are in, They would trade LeBron and AD to go get Victor Wembenyama, and I would agree with it.
I would do it. As LeBron, there's no hate against LeBron. LeBron's legacy is already cemented. Him going out, I mean, when he breaks Kareem's record, I think John Sally said he won't. I don't know what game he's been watching, but LeBron's been cooking like 25 points.
Did you hear his reasoning though? He said he don't think that they'll let him because Phil wouldn't let Kobe break 81. Or he wouldn't let Kobe break Wilt's record of 100. Because he said at the pace Kobe was going, he'd have scored 108 points.
Yeah, but Kobe came out at the end of that game.
No,
so that's literally my favorite game.
Kobe came out end of the third. Kobe didn't play much in the fourth.
No.
How much he played in the fourth?
Kobe came out in the fourth. Talking about,
but it was a lot of time left.
Not really. I think it was like 6 minutes left.
I gotta remember.
Scored 19. I mean, to sit there and let him score 19 points, and I think it still had to be the fourth quarter. Yeah. The game I think he's really talking about is when Kobe scored 62 in 3 quarters.
Maybe it was 62. That one. Could have been that one too.
Yeah, and they sat him the rest of the third and entire fourth. He outscored the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
And so at that point, at that pace, Kobe could have cooked them because Kobe got 62 with taking. I think most of his points were mid-range and in the paint. He didn't take a lot of threes that game.
But Phil basically said some records weren't meant to be broken. So that's why that was his reasoning behind them saying they probably won't let LeBron do it. But I don't think that it's possible for you to not, unless LeBron gets hurt. It's not possible. Like literally, what is it? He's got to average 25 points a game for 30 games.
No, he's got. Is that the stat? I thought
it's literally like if he averages like 25 points a game for 30 or 40 games or something like that, he's gonna break the record.
He was 1,400 points behind, and last time I checked, he's played a few games, and we're only talking about regular season. All time, he's already
season. Yeah, it's only regular
playoffs season. Included. He's already the all-time leading scorer.
Yeah.
So that's out the window. I think he had to average. I know for a fact before the season started, he had to average 16 points a game for all 82 games.
Yeah, it's something low like that, but for 30, I seen a stat where it broke it down for 30 or something like that, 40. But even with that, right? Even knowing that all-time leading scorer, you would give that up.
Yeah.
For Wembanyama.
Yeah.
So how many teams? This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do, right? Let's go through the teams because I think this is such an interesting conversation when you talk about the complexities of the teams that already exist.
I gotta say this though, because somebody's gonna clip this up and be like, "Kidd said that." It's very situational. Yeah. I'm thinking as if I'm Rob Pelinka, Jenny
Bush, the GM. Yeah.
And I have to sit there and rebuild my team. You got to think once LeBron is done, they really have nothing. As with most LeBron,
they don't have picks.
Teams, they don't have any picks except that's why they're not trying to give up the 2027 pick because that's the only real valuable pick that they have.
Although Rob was in Indiana yesterday.
Hey,
you seen that? They said Rob was in Indiana yesterday. All you seen was Buddy Hield with eyes underneath.
Hey, listen, Buddy Hield and if they really, realistically, I would try to get Tyrese Halliburton. If I could, I really would.
I think that's the one piece that they're not giving up. Indiana, nah, we got something for y'all.
Yeah.
Mathurin and Halliburton finna be nasty. But all right, let's do this, right? Boston Celtics. Would you give up Jason Tatum right now for Wemby?
No. Heck no.
Holding on to Tatum. Brown.
I wouldn't give up anybody on Boston right now.
You wouldn't give up anybody on Boston. All right. I'm literally just naming stars. I think Bucks is easy. Nobody's giving up Giannis. Portland. I'm not gonna say Dame because Dame comes with what it is. Would you give up Anthony Simons for women?
I would give up Dame.
That's not because I think Dame age wise, of course, right? I would give up Dame as well. You have for me, I'm looking at would you reset your franchise for this? I think Simons is the reset. Would you?
Simons is the reset.
Simons is the reset. Would you trade Simons for Wembanyama to get the first round pick for Wembanyama?
No, what I mean by I think we mean two different things. Like Simon being the reset for me, Simon is the person you can build around.
Agreed.
And he's a younger talent. I think what's his third year?
I think it's his third or fourth year, something like that. He's 23, 24.
He's really young.
He's young.
I would make a move.
It's a young piece.
Yeah, I would make a move for another star talent potentially in really just do Dame I think it'd be Portland doing Dame a good service by just letting him go to a contender or somebody that's willing to give up that picks. If it's a better situation, like I said, very situational. I would only move off of him because Dame is not going to say, I want to leave Portland.
Well, here's the thing, right? It's not going to be a better situation because the first round pick is going to be on a team that sucks.
Will the Bulls have a first round pick potential?
No, Wembanyama is going number 1. He's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. Like, there's nobody like. Here's the thing. Here's how I know who's coming out of college right now. We don't even know nobody's name yet. Like, I'm sure like college heads know like who's going to be in the top 5 and stuff like that. But like for me and you, right? Like, I knew last year going into the season like Paolo Banchero's name.
Yeah,
I hadn't watched his game. But I knew his name.
Yeah.
That's what we seeing with Victor Wembenyama right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is a hard and I'm one right where I'm also taking the team into account, the situation. If I'm Portland, I would package Damon Simons. I would take back a bunch of end of whatever it is contracts to get that first round pick. I don't think you could package both because they make too much money. This is completely hypothetical, but that's how much I would give up because. And actually, I know they can't do it because they also paid Simons, right? Because you're not going to get somebody out there to help Anthony Simons, and Jeremy Grant's not enough to win you an NBA championship.
You know, unfortunately, they're kind of cooking right now, so it's interesting.
Oh, they cooking right now for sure. And if they win a championship, it's wrong. But I think right in a city like that, like we were talking about this before, you never see anybody go to Portland. You've never seen a big name free agent sign in Portland. It's always been trade.
But somehow Oklahoma City is still the projected number 1 team to get the pick.
And OKC, like that's the wild part is right. Like you have so much talent there. What you gonna do with all of it, right? Like I'm fine with you moving. I would say move
SGA.
I would move SGA and Chet.
I would move SGA. Well, Chet ain't played a game yet.
Still move. But here's the thing: potential sometimes is worth so much more than the proven. You saw what all we saw of Chet was him blocking shots and making buckets in summer league.
I would move SGA and maybe Giddey. I don't think you can move Chet because 1, he hasn't played a game yet. 2, think about what that back or front court will look. What position is Chet?
He's front court. It's slim, my boy. It's a slim front court. They got Chet and they got Pokashevsky. The front court weighs less than 300 pounds put together. The whole front court weighs less than 300 pounds put together, my boy.
That's crazy, man.
I would move Chet because I want Wembanyama to have that spot. Although the one thing that I will say is we're starting to see the NBA kind of go back to a very much like Cleveland went back to we're going to play a bunch of big dudes. It's like people in basketball realized, hey, tall people matter in basketball.
Oh, rebounding and centers actually
matter. Bro, like it blows my mind, bro. Like because now I see Orlando doing it. Now I see Cleveland doing it. Now you seeing Utah doing it. It's like, hey, these tall dudes
what changed that?
Cleveland being very successful at it.
No, Giannis.
Yeah, but I can't even say that.
Warriors have to face the Bucks.
I can't even say that though because nobody else did it until we saw Cleveland flip the entire like Cleveland was what a 25-win team before last year.
Look at the last 3 champs. You got the Warriors, which I give you that.
Yeah,
but if they don't have
size, I agree with you.
If they don't have Looney, they are cooked.
Yeah,
Loon played great. They don't give him enough credit. But then you have Lakers and you have Bucks.
You don't even get ticked no more.
Look at what the Lakers did. They were just too big for everybody.
Yeah.
Too big, and they had good perimeter defense. I don't care if you shoot lights out. I got good perimeter defense, and I'm going to get this board when you miss because you shoot at best 38%.
And that's
Give me this rock.
It's crazy that, like, in basketball, people just look at it and be like, hey, those tall dudes standing together are tough to beat. It's like, bro. The NBA, the 90s meant a little bit of something. All right. Portland, so you wouldn't move off Simons on Portland?
No, I would move Dame because he's the most valuable piece. Dame right now is in his prime.
So OKC has it now. What are the teams that are down there? What are like the worst 3 teams in the league right now? Well, I guess I can look right now. So you talk about Houston, Detroit, the Lakers. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's so crazy. I see so much Lakers stuff. I never would have thought they had 3 wins right now.
Bro,
Houston,
they have the best, one of the best defensive ratings and one of the worst offensive ratings.
Yeah, to do it. Houston, Detroit, the Lakers, and Charlotte, and Orlando are your bottom 4 right now. Or your bottom 5 right now. So those are the teams that you're thinking about trading to. So the whole time, right? Lakers might already be up in there. How this season is going, the Lakers might already get up in there. And maybe that was the move. You bring in Pat Bev because you know it's not going to fix nothing.
It's not going to fix nothing.
Hey, bro, hold on. Is Rob a genius, bro? Hold on. Oh, they don't have a pick. No, it don't matter. They don't have a pick.
You trade for those picks. You trade for those picks for sure.
Wait a minute.
You trade for those picks.
So, no. But who they going to trade? You could trade LeBron. You could trade AD. But here's the thing. New Orleans got that pick. You could see a front court that includes Zion and Wembanyama.
I think that's the number 4 pick, though.
It depends on where they finish. It's not protected. Those were unprotected picks that New Orleans got. That's tough. Denver, you moving to 2-time MVP.
You know, I don't see them winning with Jokic.
I kind of feel the same way.
I think Jokic is going to have
although I will say this. This is the weird part. I don't see them winning with Jokic. I can absolutely see them winning with MPJ.
Yeah.
But Jokic and MPJ together, I could see that working. But the question mark, of course, always on MPJ, how healthy he's going to be, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you move Jokic to go get it Wembanyama? And again, another city where you struggle to get free agents. That's a tough one for me. And I know it sounds crazy. I know y'all, it sounds crazy.
I just want to make sure that we're under the caveat of all hypothetical and fan.
It's so hypothetical. Jokic isn't going anywhere. This is literally like gut feeling. Would you make if Houston called and said, we're going to get this number 1 pick. We got young talent here. We want a star. Send us Jokic. We'll send you the number 1 pick.
No, I wouldn't do it for Houston because I think the stars that they have and Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr., I think they need a big man that's going to come in and simply grab boards and maybe give you a double-double. Jokic, the funny thing about Jokic is you need that ecosystem around him. I don't think you can have him as an added piece around somebody else, which is why I don't think the Denver Nuggets are going to win.
Hold on. I don't know about that, my boy. They got to the playoffs purely just because he put up a triple-double last year. Like, it's a lot of people that hate on him getting a 2-time MVP, but he had no help last year, and his numbers are ridiculous. Like, no help. Like, it was like, what's Buddy? That's on not KCP. They just traded KCP for him.
I don't remember.
He in Washington now. I can't think of his name. Ty. No, I'm thinking Ty Lawson. Nope, that's too early. I can't think of Buddy's name. He in Washington now. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They traded KCP for him, basically. And we was like, why the heck did you trade KCP? Who's on Washington? I don't know. I got everybody.
Porzingis, Bill. You got
Kuzma, Bill, Goodwin, Monte, and Lonte. Maybe they moved him off of Washington.
Like, who you talking about?
I thought he was on Washington. Because wasn't KCP on Washington last year?
Yeah, he was.
Maybe I'm wrong. Denny, Gafford, Gill. Maybe he's not on Washington. It was somebody that was on Denver last year, and he was just he could just shoot. That was all he did. But all right. I mean, that's that's just giving credit to Jokic, though. You know what I mean? Like Jokic was amazing last year. I'm
not taking that away from him. I just don't think, like, you know who else is like really freaking good, but
I was just saying because you said like I don't think that he would fit in Houston.
I don't think he would fit in.
And I'm like, I think he would fit wherever he goes. One, because the second you get Jokic on your team, you building around Jokic, Jalen Green. You I'm sorry, you got to take a back seat, my boy. Yeah. I hate to tell you this, but when the 2-time MVP walks in the room, you're not the team no more.
That's a fact. I ain't gonna lie about that. You can't say nothing about that one.
Hey, bro. No, we don't. Well, it is his team now. It is his team. All right, so you wouldn't move.
Denver is in an interesting position. I don't know.
Denver's a tough one. Would you move Jokic? You moving Jokic for Wembanyama?
I don't know who would. I don't know what situation that would actually work. Like, you got to think about it. If you thought the trade for Rudy Gobert was big, this would be the biggest trade in history because he's a 2-time MVP who averages a triple-double, who has one of the best. Well, statistically, he's one of the best players. He's top 10 to have ever played statistically, which is hard to even imagine at this point. Somebody came up with it. Now, mind you, this is through a lens of some weird advanced analytics.
Yeah, some like ESPN stat where, like, if Jokic dribbles the ball with his left hand and holds up his right hand, and he's crossing the court on a Wednesday, he's the first person to ever pass.
Yeah, he has
somebody's
a true
legs.
shooting percentage of 70%, and he's like this statistically in history, which is the highest, something like that. But
the
like
ESPN stats.
Whatever, some nerd. Okay,
the LeBron Rider stats. That's what I like to call them, bro.
Go.
Because that's every time I see a stat, I'd be like, bro, LeBron's the first to do too much stuff out here.
Like, who I can't see that happening though. For me, that's a no. I can't see that happening in Denver though.
Okay, you wouldn't.
What do you got? You said you would.
I'm thinking from the aspect of right now, Denver's a little different for me, right? 2-time MVP. I think Jokic is that level of player. I think your job now is to find people through the draft that you already have and stuff like that to put around a player like that. I'm not giving it, like, for me, Jokic is a Giannis. Jokic is a Embiid. Jokic, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I got you. You ready?
Top of the leagues like that.
You ready?
Let's do it.
I would trade Jokic. If I'm OKC, I would make that trade for Jokic. OKC has too many good players, too many young players, and I can see him in OKC. Well, and I can see him with SGA, and I can see that working.
I think here's the thing, right? Everybody would. like if you could tell me I can jumpstart my franchise that has been struggling for 6-7 years by adding in the 2-time MVP, most people would say, yeah. I think the question mark is more so on the team that's given up the star.
Who has the best player and who has the most picks?
Yep.
So we know it's a foregone conclusion that OKC, whether we like it or not, is in this conversation because they have the most picks and they're projected to be in that conversation
right now. OKC 6-8 though. OKC only 2 games below, not early in the season, right? It's all they might, but I mean, like they seem like they. I don't know. I'm not big on it, but they seem like they love Chet.
OKC is about to sit there but here's the thing, you got to think about it. I would trade Chet.
I would include Chet. Bro. I'm telling you, I would give up so much stuff to secure that pick not because what the media is saying, but because what players that are a part of the game are saying about Wembanyama. I was not high on Wembanyama seeing him because I'm like, yeah, he hooping against G League dudes over here, right? Like, of course he gonna cook. Like, he's supposed to cook these dudes. I saw him going up against what's buddy named Scoot. Can't think of his last name. And I saw Scoot getting busy on him. He getting past him, getting a lay. I'm like, yeah, dudes do that in the NBA every day. But when you start hearing, and this is the one thing that made me change perspective, right? When you hear players talk about other players, Kevin Durant was the first person to ever say Zach LaVine's going to get a max contract. He's that good of a player. He was the first person I ever heard say that. And he was like, y'all don't see it, but he's that good of a player. And I mean, like, they're the experts on what the modern game is. Like, you hear the old heads and stuff talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, they can listen. I'm not saying Chuck and Shaq and Kenny and all them others can't identify talent, but they played in a different basketball. They don't run the same thing. Even when just hearing Candace Parker, when she was talking to Shaq about how they run the defense right now, and Shaq was like, what just happened to getting over? And she was like, you're going to have a big man shooting in your face all day. Like, you'll never get over.
Yeah.
It's just a different league right now. So when you hear Kevin Durant or like Giannis talking about Wembanyama, and it's just like, nah, this is different, bro. And even his mindset, bro. First off, here's an interesting thing. We gonna keep going with this, but bro, I don't think these younger dudes that's coming in respect LeBron the way that younger dudes coming in respected Jordan. And this is not to create the Jordan versus LeBron debate. I don't think they're coming in as respecting LeBron the way they respected Kobe. Like, you just knew some of them was going to get at you. Bro, we heard Ben Matherin come in and basically be like, yo, bro, like, listen, he got to show me. And maybe he was just being cocky, but even they was talking to Wembenyama on the broadcast, and they was like, man, LeBron is posting about you. He's like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And most of us would be like, LeBron posts about me?
What's he supposed to say, though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, bro, nah, bro, I didn't expect Wembenyama to hit you with the Gucci hoop. Gucci, man. Shout out, man. Gucci. I didn't expect that. Like,
I think he's this good PR trainer. He wants to make sure he don't say nothing, do anything wrong, stuff like that. That's all it is. But at the same time, why should they fear these players? Like, why? Like, the one thing I respected about Kobe the most, and I don't want to get on a tangent about this, but he had no fear of Michael Jordan, and that's what made him, to me.
Did you see the interview? It's an old interview, so I'm sure you've seen it. When they told him, I forget who he said it was. One of the vets on his team said, I'm gonna give you some advice.
Don't look
Mike in the eyes. And Kobe was like, he better not look me in the eye.
When you have that type of fear over people, that affects your whole game. And so for him to come in and be like, nah, we finna go to war. Like, whether he got cooked or not,
I love it.
You gotta respect it. Like,
I love it. I love it from Ben. And Ben came in. I'm gonna be honest with you. Ben surprised me a lot more than Ben Carroll did.
For sure, because you didn't think he was going to be able to cook like that.
I thought Ben was going to be decent, but I was like, hey, Ben Matherin is absolutely like the best player on this team right now.
You got it.
Shout out to him. Let's not get too far off. Hold on. So we say I'm not moving off of Jokic if I'm Denver. I'm not moving off of Jokic. You got to be, in my mind, right, you have to be you have to look at that piece and say, I'm a good enough GM to put a good team around him. Because that's your Wembanyama piece, right? Wembanyama is still hope and dreams. That's a lot of people that believe in this hope and dream, and that's why you can have this conversation, but he's still hope and dream. And when he failed the other day, I was nervous. I was like, oh my God, he looked like a giraffe.
That's why I say it's situational. He's way too big. He's way like most people of he's 7'2".
He makes he's bigger than that. He makes Rudy Gobert look small.
Oh, yeah. He is
bigger than that. He's like 7'5", bro.
Historically, those careers are only 8 years. Like what we're seeing with Giannis, never hasn't really happened like that. What we're seeing with Embiid,
what 6'11"?
We've
seen that. We've seen long careers on 6'11", 7 foot.
Kevin Durant is 7 foot. I don't care what nobody say.
Kevin Durant's 7 foot. Kevin Durant's the only one that don't believe he's 7 foot.
Kevin Durant's career, the way it's been going, hasn't really been seen. And so, like with modern technology and all this stuff and good training, I know it's possible, but historically, I still go by the numbers. That's 7 to 8 years tops.
Yeah, you're taking a chance for sure. And that's for me, right? Like, listen, Jokic is sturdy. Like, if Jokic go down, it's because Jokic flop. Like,
I'm trading Jokic.
I'm holding on to Jokic. Atlanta, you giving up Trae Young for Wembanyama?
No,
I would. One, because I don't think Trae Young and DeJounte Murray are going to fit that well because Trae Young is not as great as an off guard as I think a lot of people are starting to notice. But two,
he's undersized. He doesn't impact the game that much outside of.
Not even that. For me, and y'all will notice this as I go through a lot of these answers, I'm so big man centric in the NBA. I would give up a great guard. I would give up most great guards for a great big man.
Well, now the big mans are more skilled, so I give you that.
Even back like all time, right? Like Kobe didn't win the big games without that great big man. He had Powell. Team wasn't no different. You just added Powell in.
But
you know what I mean? Or you added Powell, you added Lamar Odom. Those was two 6'10", 7 foot dudes. You added in, before that is Shaq and Kobe. Like those are the ones you win. Jordan is kind of, I guess Jordan's the outlier. Like both of his teammates were 6'6", 6'7".
No, I mean he had Luke Longley. Oh snap!
No disrespect to Luke. No disrespect to Luke out here.
was
I give
good.
you.
I like
You
that.
could have. I thought you was going to Horace on that. You went straight to Luke Longley.
Yeah, Luke. I mean, Luke
He had Luke Longley. Bill Winnington in that mug, man. Big Winnington.
Hey.
Will Perdue. Will Perdue.
But you got to look at it though. The game was so big man heavy in the 80s
That's
and
why it was
90s.
crazy though. Like even Magic championships.
Yeah. So they were so big man heavy that having an explosive guard was like, yo, we have no one to stick him. Let's put somebody big on him. Now he's faster than that person.
Yeah.
So like it's this mismatch, this perpetual mismatch that you have. That's why he's the outlier.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't.
And I don't think that exists anymore in the NBA now. There's not really you're a mismatch if you are a Jokic or you are a
Vooch.
or a Vooch. Like those are your mismatch. Andre Drummond sometimes. You know, guys
why you got to play them together.
Guys that just they don't move around in that way. Listen, Patrick Williams is the only one hooping in that last game. P. Will putting some games together out here, my boy. But anyway, hey, yeah. Hey, look, that's on Billy. He scored 8 of them in the first 7 minutes of the game.
I just don't get really hyped for mediocre output and be like, that's the future. I don't do it.
I ain't say it was the future. I just said I wouldn't play Drummond and Vooch together.
I would do that because in person, Andre Drummond, like that's the one thing I have to say, and I haven't been on the show back to say this. In person, he looks a lot more agile.
Oh yeah, he is.
He's a really big, quick, big man.
After Detroit, I think he lost like 20 pounds or something like that. Like he slimmed down quite a bit.
He don't look as awkward as he used to. And I was just like, yo, the way he's moving, unless it's some like minute restriction, I need him to get more tick. Like we were like really close. So I'm looking at the game from a different vantage point.
You also went to his first game back.
It was the one against the Pelicans.
Yeah, it was his first game back.
In person though, I would tell you this: a lot of the people who you think look very imposing just didn't look that imposing to me. Like Zion didn't look as imposing to me in person as he does on TV.
Is it also because he's standing next to a lot of other large men?
I walked up to the court, was able to get a good photo while he was shooting free throws, and I'll be honest with you. Like I stood next to Dame before, not CJ. But like CJ didn't look that much small. That like
CJ 6'3", 6'2". CJ a regular dude that's just really good at basketball.
Zion is only 6'4", 6'5", really.
Yeah, he probably owns some Barkley.
So like is he built? Yeah, he built, but like he didn't look like physically imposing. Now when him going to the cup, it just looked like, man, that's just a big dude you can't stop. But it didn't look like Giannis.
Hey, listen.
It didn't look like Giannis. I don't know how else to describe it.
And that's the wild part. But the impact is the same when you get hit underneath the bucket.
Now I will say this: he moves the heck out of people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
With the slightest moves too. I'm like, yo, that level is crazy.
He be moving, bro.
That's a big
bro.
move,
His jab step is crazy to me, dog. His jab step to me, like must be stuck. I'd be like, you literally didn't go nowhere. Yeah. He just drove past you. I feel like he shouldn't have done that. I thought because at first I was like, man, P. Will should not be getting caught by that. But I keep seeing that happen. Zion Williamson do that jab step, and I think Muggs are just like trying to brace themselves for the impact that's coming. Yeah. And then he just go. And they're like, oh, I need to get back into play.
If I know New Orleans was coming up eventually, I wouldn't trade anybody off New Orleans for Wembanyama because seeing BI in person, how he closed out that game, masterful way to close out. By the way, he looked like a young KD to me, sincerely. Yeah. They have what they need, and you really want to let that group kind of form.
I agree. Continuity works there.
Yeah,
I think you need a better coach. I think you need to find a better coach.
No, Green is a good coach.
I don't know if he's here's the thing. Is for me, not to say you should move on from a coach every other year and stuff like that, because I know there's fans that want instant gratification on that. But when you have talents that you feel like can put you in a championship position, but when you see them, you like they probably not gonna get out of the second round. I feel like that's when you need to look at it and be like, okay, we need to set a legit time on this. Like he just got there, last year? I'm not saying don't let that develop. Don't let him grow as a coach. Don't let him figure it out.
Yeah.
But there's a shelf life on these players. There's a shelf life on a championship window with these players. And in the modern NBA, right, there's a shelf life on how long these mothers are going to want to be in New Orleans. We just know that.
They need a better bench. I don't think it's the coach. They just need a better. They
They're
need a better
just
second
deep
unit.
though. Alvarado, you got although Devontae Graham was playing a little bit down this season, but normally he's a nice piece. Larry Nance, I think Larry Nance might be hurt. Or he might be back. No, Larry Nance is back.
Larry Nance hasn't really done much.
He been hurt his whole time down there. He only came back in the playoffs.
I think the one thing you'll see is maybe he switch up the lineup to give maybe Zion more tick. And then you got to look at it like there's two things. How does your young player develop his game? Because if Zion develops a more consistent outside shot, they got it. Because looking at Zion, he don't have a good outside shot. He can shoot it, but it don't mean it's like LeBron in 04. He can shoot it, but that ain't what he doing.
I wouldn't move Zion, even with all the injury concerns, because of how efficient he is around the rim and how just about impossible it is for like the best big men in the NBA to stop him. So for me, right, Zion is your big man. And you can pair other nice finesse big men around him. Right. That's what I'm saying. You could pair other nice finesse big men around him, and they're not taking up the same spaces.
Val look good too. Val look real good.
Listen,
bro.
I've been saying the bullshit of when he got Valanciunas since he left Toronto the first time, bro.
But he looked
just didn't want to leave.
He looked just like Vooch, bro.
He looked like younger Vooch. He looked like 2 years younger
Vooch. He looked like Vooch now. Like looking at the matchup, they look like the same player.
Hey, Vooch be getting cooked by that man too. Vooch's career, he's staying getting cooked by Valanciunas.
Vooch was doing some
Vooch got that outside shot falling, but for the most part, hey, and we'll get to see that matchup when y'all see this. It'll be last night, but we'll get to see that matchup tonight, bro. Because I'll be live for that too, bro. Like I hope Vooch don't get cooked twice, bro. Like Vooch got to come out with the mindset of like, all right, I got you this time. Carl, you better get him, Carl. All right, so I wouldn't. I mean, how many stars have we said? Let me see. So you said you wouldn't. I wouldn't move off of anybody on Boston.
No Boston.
I wouldn't move off of anybody on Milwaukee for him. I would move off of Anthony Simons. I got one there. I wouldn't move off of nobody from Denver. I'd trade Trae Young for him. I would. I'd trade Trae Young for that pick. Because I think pairing DeJounte Murray with a legitimate big man and not just Clint Capella going up to get oops and block shots would do wonders for his career. I would move off of Trae Young for that. I wouldn't move off Zion. So I got two right now. Two legitimate, what I think we call stars in the NBA that I would move off of right now. And you got one, basically.
I said I would move off Jokic just because I don't think Denver's going to get it done with the unit that they have.
So you moving off Jokic too?
I think he's the only big name that I would say is in a situation where it's like
it's either we win with this dude or we don't.
We don't. And it's he garners enough respect and stuff. So it's not like I think he's bad or anything like that. But if you're going to move, and the Lakers, I would move off of. We said the Lakers.
We did say we would move. I would
move off LeBron and AD.
I would move off of LeBron, AD. Either one or both. Or both. Just because you have no future. Legit, you have to. To me, AD's not your future. I think now AD is taking a backseat mindset to it, and it's sad to say, but he's just. And maybe see, the tough part is I always think in my mind, is it the LeBron effect? We know that people just take a back seat when LeBron comes in the room because LeBron kind of makes you take that back seat. But I feel like LeBron went into LA with the mindset of, I don't want the front seat no more. I want to I want to D-Wade AD. I want to do what D-Wade did for me to AD.
Sometimes you are.
And then AD didn't really take that. Because I mean, in all honesty, year one, D-Wade was like, hey, bro, I think D-Wade was like, it's your team. And then LeBron wasn't doing nothing. He was like, hey, bro, we finna keep losing if you don't get it together.
Yeah.
And then LeBron kind of started playing better. D-Wade stepped up his stuff and stepped up. You know what I mean? I think LeBron thought that was going to happen in LA, and it never did. AD always played the number 2 role. He had some really great games. He had some really great moments. I'm not saying he didn't play well there, but you always knew who was going to have the ball in their hand when the game was in.
Without LeBron, the Lakers look good, to be honest with you.
I ain't going to go that far. Not but 3 wins. The Lakers are right now built poorly, but I think they might be trying to get in on this. Hey, we can move some of these mugs because we suck. The Lakers are just built poor. They have no shooters.
It's a feel-good story. Think about it. LeBron gets moved to a team that can absolutely draft his son when he's available because they got enough freaking picks to do it.
Yeah.
AD gets moved off. Who cares where he lands? But he's a good play. He's still a really good player. He's a top 10 big man,
I
probably
think
top
if you
5.
move LeBron will retire. That's probably a tough part too. I think LeBron will retire.
Nah, he wants to play with Bronny.
I know he wants to play with Bronny.
And I would absolutely love to see it, to be honest with you.
I
I would love to see that come full circle.
I agree with you 110%.
And his son looks like Donovan Mitchell.
But I don't think LeBron would go to a little bit. That's weird. I don't think LeBron would just go anywhere and be like, yeah, I'm good being moved.
He has to go somewhere that can actually draft his son. And if you put LeBron with
but his contract's up. He'll be a free agent. He'll get the pick.
So
literally, like, he can see his son get drafted and then go, all right, I'm going to sign with y'all.
Go to OKC, bro. For one,
they might get him.
Because listen, you got to think about it. What team is going to take the risk? Who can't take the risk? It's not even about NBA championship or contention at this point. It's just legacy for him at this point, which is nothing wrong with. He owes nobody nothing. Like, he's done. If he never wins another championship, he's still top 5 all time. Like, it doesn't matter.
In my mindset, right? No matter what, and it's probably just the Chicagoan in me. Like, I get it, but like for me, Jordan will always be 1.
But you're an accomplishment.
LeBron is 2. Like in my mind, it'll always be there. LeBron is 2 for me. I know Muzz be like, what about Kobe? Like, yes, I know winning matters. I know all of that, but I can literally see, and even with some things with Jordan as well, I can literally see that LeBron has more talent in certain areas than these. Like, I can use my eyes, and I can also say Jordan, career-wise, I would take over LeBron.
For sure.
Right, but I can also see what LeBron is and be like, yeah, he a better passer.
Listen,
he might be a better, right? Like, there's certain he's 6'8", he was 260 at his heaviest. Like
30 years ago, when this conversation was happening with Mike, Kareem had the most points, his top 5 in rebounds, top 5 in blocks, and top 5 in all this stuff. Guess what? We all still said that Mike was better.
Yeah.
Karl Malone was in the same situation. No rings, but you couldn't sit there and say, man, 36,000 points, top 5 in all these categories. How is he not considered talent-wise the best? Because guess what? There was a guy named Michael Jordan who just dominated so freaking much that you couldn't say it.
I think
it just didn't matter.
That's a conversation for a different day, but I think the narrative is pivoted on what makes you great in the NBA as well. Not great, I shouldn't say that. What makes you GOAT status? The narrative has pivoted, and I think it's because
of LeBron.
Jordan fans went so hard on LeBron fans when LeBron just couldn't win in the playoffs, basically, that they were like, all right, well, we're younger and we're the next media that's up, so we're just going to change what it takes to be the GOAT. You don't got to win championships. You just got to be one of the best players that we can visually see.
My man said he went to 10 straight finals. Yeah, on like 3 different teams. Like, it ain't like he's had the same team and ran the table. Like, he didn't pull a Bill Russell. He constructed like a really talented team, and collectively they got there. And so it's like, yes.
Listen, he kind of pulled a Bill Russell. If we want to talk about anything, Boston literally was just like, we got more money than the rest of y'all. And so we're going to make sure nobody else wins.
And then some guy who shoots lights out was like, yeah, hold my beer. Like,
but he kept losing.
But he
kept losing. You know what I mean? Like, he was like,
if anything, LeBron is just a better, like, legacy-wise, is just a better Jerry West. Jerry went to the finals 8 times.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, he's he went 8 times and lost to the same team all the time.
It's tough. Hey, bro,
that's tough.
You know how, and like legit, like not new same team, like the same team. Like he had to see the same.
I mean, they retoured a couple pieces, but it was
a couple pieces in there. But for the most part, you had to see the same 11 dudes every year.
And he didn't really win until he had Wilt. That's a different story. Let's move to the next payment. If you're Miami, now listen, I tell you this: if I'm Miami, I'd do it.
I don't think Miami has the player to do it. I wasn't even gonna bring them up.
I would trade Jimmy Butler. I would trade Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, and I would go get some picks, and I would do it. I would blow it up.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
They're so middle of the road. It's ridiculous.
I don't think that you could get that many picks. Like, I think literally Miami would have to make a deal that some team would have to like, you would have to send back expiring contracts and money for the 3 players you just named, and we'll be like, we'll give you the 1, and that's all you getting.
Bro,
and we're gonna give you these old.
Need 10 people better than Jimmy Butler right now at his position. That's shooting guard. That's small
the thing
forward.
Is, you also have to take the age into account, though. Jimmy's what, 33?
Here you go with this 33 crap.
I swear Jimmy's 33.
I swear he's not.
I swear Jimmy's 33, 32. How old is Jimmy right now? Y'all know I be wrong about the age all the time, bro. Steve-O be killing me in the chat, in the Discord. He be like, bro, you don't know nobody age.
He's 33.
Okay, all right, I'm in the game.
Okay, there you go.
Jimmy's 33, you're not going to be able to make that trade. And Tyler Hero's not that good. Like, he's good, but he's not good enough. Like,
I said package him.
You said
I would ship Jimmy Butler,
Jimmy, Tyler Hero, and Duncan Robinson. You basically
and I would ship them to OKC.
Yeah, but you basically talking about we'll send you to OKC, or y'all send us the first round pick that could turn into the best player
in SGA.
Seen, according to you're not getting a player back. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're gonna say, I'm sending you this,
bro. No, that's
money wise, you got to send somebody back. But the thing is, right, like, bro, the best thing that you're sending them is a good role player. Like, is Tyler Hero a great role player? Maybe Tyler Hero. I'm gonna give Tyler Hero a great role player.
Bro, come on now. That's mad disrespect. That's mad disrespect. First of all, Jimmy's here. Jimmy G Buckets is here. Now I sound like Ringo. Jimmy G Buckets is here.
I'm not saying Jimmy's not good, but you're talking about sending me a 33-year-old player, and the young player you're sending me is going to be a role player in that.
Yeah, because
Tyler Hero's not gonna, but I don't get a first round pick no more.
What do you mean I don't get a first round pick?
You're sending Miami to pick.
Dog,
so your star is
gonna have 16 first round picks.
Hey, listen, but let's be real.
No, they have enough. They have enough picks to draft the whole freaking team in the league. That's why they talk about expansion teams now. They can build a whole different team with the picks they get.
But listen, here's the problem. I can see the picks that they have, and already I can see that Wembanyama is absolutely going to be better than every single one of them.
So do me a favor. I'm going to give you SGA because he don't fit your timeline. I'm going to give you these aging players. One, I'm going to give you, here's the thing.
Bro, they don't have no aging players.
I'm going to give you
Jimmy the average Butler. Age on that team is like 12.
They're not even legal to drink.
They don't have no aging players. That's what I'm saying.
But here's the thing. That's the problem. They don't have any vets.
But see,
they got talent. They don't have any vets, and they really don't have a good coach, in my opinion. But they don't have any vets. You need a vet. You need a really good vet.
I agree with you, right? But my thing is, right,
so like, get some vets. Keep the young, because they still got Chet. They still gonna have Giddy. They still gonna have a lot of young people there that they can turn something into. I mean, Chet was the number 1 pick this year.
But I want the best one.
But Chet was already the number 1 pick this year. You haven't even seen him play. Like everything we talking about Wembanyama, we were talking about Chet last season. No, he's still 7-1.
I never was talking about that with Chet. That was everybody else. I always was like, I don't think Chet's that dude. I've never thought Chet was that dude. I said, if you got the opportunity, you go get Paolo.
Bro, Chet is 20. He's 7-1. And he was a number 2 pick, not the number 1 pick. Guess what? You still got to let that work out.
190 pounds.
Wembanyama is 7'4", 229. I mean,
that's more weight, bro.
30 pound difference. Anyway,
that's more weight. That's a big difference, bro.
That depends on how it's distributed. Anyway.
Also, Wembanyama already. I think the other thing you gotta take into account too. Wembanyama already getting pro level treatment on his body. Like, he has a dude that follows him around. I literally was just like listening to a bunch of stuff and looking at all this stuff on him today because I knew we were doing this pod. He has a dude that's like, for lack of a better word, he has a body dude. All this dude do
somebody works him out.
That's the worst way to say it. But yeah, but
what do you mean? No, he makes sure his body's in shape. He works out.
All he does is make sure, okay, we saw you slip here. Let's stretch this out. Let's make this happen. We're gonna do this workout. We're gonna make that. We're gonna, like, his whole job on the team is just make sure he don't break.
Yeah, I don't know where his parents got the money for this, but they definitely invested for real in that.
What you mean? He's playing professionally. He's coming in with
he's like
Luka did already. Yeah, that's the other thing too. He's playing in the pros already, cooking like this. He played with Rudy Gobert in the French. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's coming in, and we're not seeing these pro level European players come over here and struggle really as much as we used to. Like these mothers are coming over here, they like, I thought the NBA would be tougher. Like these new pretty much since Luka. I mean, you think about it, right?
Luka been cooking since the
Luka. What's my Sengun down in Houston?
Yeah.
Balling. Sengun legit is has the best footwork out of any big man in the NBA right now.
He's just smaller.
I think he's 6'9", something like that. 6'9", something like
body wise, he's just not imposing.
But bro, like he be moving muds, bro. Like
he be moving.
When you if you cover up, it's tough tape. If you like cover up and be like, maybe he's a black dude, you'll be like, oh, is that Hakeem footwork? That's a tough tape. Yeah, I mean, you gotta cover the legs up and just see the shoes, and you be like, is that Hakeem footwork right there? Like
I think that's the one thing that we really saw good. Is France and all
Franz
those
Wagner.
Franz Wagner, that's a good one.
Like they not coming over here and like, oh, I got to adjust to the league.
But the game over there is tougher.
Like, huh?
The game over there is tougher. They play 90s basketball.
Yeah. And you can go.
They play 90s basketball for real.
You can just straight goaltend. That cracks me up.
They play 90s basketball with a goaltending rule.
With a goaltending call, bro.
Like, I can take it off the rim. Thank you.
Give me that.
That sounds actually pretty good though.
That sounds mad entertaining. Like the ball is just sitting on the lip and somebody just come over and they're like, get that.
Here's the question I gotta ask you. If you're the Bulls, would you give up a star?
Yes. I give up both of them. When you hear Giannis Antetokounmpo say, I've never seen this before. You don't win championships.
Run this back. When you say I give up both of them, which two stars you talking about?
DeMar and Zach.
You crazy. You crazy as hell. Well, I'm gonna say it. You crazy as hell.
Because here's my reasoning behind it, and I've stood fast on this.
You had this conversation before?
I'm not this specific, but this is my general standpoint on NBA basketball. Unless you think Zach LaVine is going to become a superstar, which I hope he does. We paid him a lot of money. I really do hope he does. I think that he has the ability to. I think the mindset has to be there for you to take that step. You're probably not going to win an NBA championship unless somebody else steps up. You need superstar talent to win championships.
But there's no guarantee you're going to win no NBA championship with that kid.
There's not. But that's ceiling. That's him coming over, right? Like people were saying the same thing about Luka. There's no guarantee that he's going to come over and be able to play like he played over there. And then he came over, he put up LeBron numbers his rookie year. You know what I mean? Like, to me, you're taking a chance. And guess what? Trae Young was the proven talent. Not proven in the sense of...
But Luka was playing against professionals. He played against the Olympic team.
Luka was playing against... And Trae Young... And they
at
still...
15.
And Atlanta still said, hey, I'll trade you Trae Young for Luka Doncic.
I really think that was Mark Cuban saying, hey, I see another Dirk. I want him. What do you want?
Yeah,
I think that was more of that.
They just swap picks.
Yeah,
they didn't swap nothing crazy. They just swap pick. Like if you see, here's the thing: if Mark Cuban sees that's Dirk, and he's like, I'll trade you Trae Young right now.
Culture
we know
fit.
You want.
You gotta have the culture fit. I don't know.
Come on, hold on. First off. Luka would fit in Atlanta. Luka be lit out here. Luka would fit in Atlanta. Hey, Luka be lit out here. Luka be like, hey, listen.
Luka would not have fit in Atlanta.
Bro, Luka be trying to holler at every female that walked past. You think he wouldn't fit in Atlanta? Luka would be just like Dirk. You would see Luka with a black chick on his arm. And we would be like, Luka, welcome to the cookout, brother. You can make a finger roll and you got a baddie. Come through.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. Mark Cuban, as the businessman I know him as, would have bet the farm to get that pick. If they wouldn't have swapped picks, he would have put a player behind it to get it. That's how bad he wanted him.
No, 100%. But that's what I'm saying, right? Like Luka is and was already playing against pros, was already putting up great numbers against pros, was already the best player outside of America in the world. And you know that's the kind of player that can get you to a Western Conference Finals pretty much with some help from Jalen Brunson, but
Pat, I gotta ask you this. And I'm gonna use this one player as the example.
I know it's Patrick Williams.
No, Laurie Markkinen.
Yeah.
Larry Marketing, when I went back and looked at him, peaked at 18 points, 18.8 points a game. And realistically, the city kind of, and there's the coaching change and all that stuff. The city was more amped to give Kobe White a shot over Larry Marketing.
Kobe was new. But actually, we needed Kobe and Larry to play well together.
Right. So hear me out. Larry Marketing, in a situation that allowed him to be a number one or number two, has shown up. Now, mind you, he's matured. Yeah. I give you that. He's matured. So both things could be true.
And in a situation, I think in a situation he wants to be in now. Less lights in his face. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's less lights, it's more opportunity. Because look at Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson was the same way. He gets to that situation. He's been cooking. Jordan Clarkson came from LA.
Jordan Clarkson was cooking on. Well, he actually went through the exact same situation.
Well,
real talk. That probably also helps him. He literally went through the exact same situation. He left LA, went to Cleveland.
Disgraced.
Didn't get Cleveland. No, he was hooping in Cleveland. Remember, they was just like, stop playing light skin. Kobe told him stop playing light skin, and he started hooping.
And
then he went over to Utah, and he's been there ever since.
And they got rid of him. So it's like you got to think of it from a mental standpoint.
Is Clarkson on the Clippers?
No, he wasn't on the Clippers. He wasn't on Clippers.
Jordan Crawford was on the Clippers. Yeah, trash. Anyway.
So all this stuff has happened, but you give it some time, but what it matures to.
Yeah.
Right. If you get rid of your two stars for the opportunity of getting this kid, we're going to be right back where we started 2 years ago.
100%.
With the kid who is he a generational talent? Or is he just a freakishly tall shooting guard? We don't know yet.
Well, I'll tell you this: freakishly tall shooting guards work really well in the NBA. I'll tell you that right now.
But there's
only one.
Is he going to give me something that Zach doesn't? And I don't think so.
I think I don't know. And I think that's the tough part about it, right? And that's the part where if you're the GM, you have to sit down with him. You have to talk. Like, I'm not saying that it's an easy decision to just, I would do this. But if you sit down and make that decision.
I can't wrap my mind around that one.
I think this is my thing. I don't think that the DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine Chicago Bulls will win an NBA championship. I think that they can compete for a lot. I think that they can get really close. I do think that they have the opportunity to where you have a team right now that if you can get mentally right and figure out kind of where y'all are going and all that, you can be an Eastern Conference Finals team. And anything can happen then, right? Like legit, one shot away last year, and the same Miami team minus PJ Tucker that we're talking about is like, y'all are mid, is in the NBA Finals last year. One Jimmy Butler shot, they in the NBA Finals. So, like, I think that there's always that opportunity to get there. But at the end of the day, last year's Finals to me was a foregone conclusion because I knew one team had a superstar and one team didn't. I thought that Jaylen Brown might become that superstar player. Everybody's saying he was hurt. Finals, I'm sure that he was probably dealing with some injury, but Jason Tatum, everybody was saying he was hurt. I thought that he would take that superstar step. Wasn't able to do it. I think he said he had a torn labrum the entire Finals or something like that. Mm-hmm. That'll hold you back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not taking anything away from what Tatum did. You know, it's a very important muscle. But
got to use that.
You know what I mean? But I also saw Marcus Smart doing everything in his power to beat the crap out of Stephen Curry, just like he was doing Kevin Durant. And Stephen Curry said, I'm going to just keep dropping 40 on y'all, and it's just going to happen. And you're going to lose this Finals.
You and I look at that Finals differently, and that's what I appreciate about our show. Just the nuance and different points of view. I honestly looked at that, and I was like, they are Jason Tatum having 2 good games away from being the NBA champs.
That's a lot, though.
He just needed 2. They went 6.
That's needed 2. Though. That's a lot. Like when you think about that, right? And especially how good, like you also got to think about the other side, how good Wiggins was playing. Like it's not just Stephen Curry by himself, right? It's the fact that
Wiggins played great.
It's the fact that you got Tatum, we got Wiggins, and I can match that up.
Wiggins
you got Brown, we got Poole, and we got Clay coming off of the bench, and we got like I got pieces that I can match up against what y'all are doing to play great. You got Smart, we got Curry. Right. Like I think at the end of the day, for me, it's about what's the piece that puts you over the top.
Look at what you just said, though, right? That part right there, how you matched it up. Great matchup on paper, right? Veteran experience and having been there before.
100%.
When you've been there before, now you don't have to worry about the same mental mistakes on your squad that other squad had to. Ime hadn't been there as a head coach before. Jason Tatum had never been in the finals. That whole team had never been to the
nobody's ever
finals.
been there. No.
I think Al Horford. Yeah, that was Al Horford's first time there. And if you look at it was his first time there. He had set a record. He's the longest tenured something to have ever made a final.
Oh,
like
okay.
He went the longest time to have for someone
was
to
he
have
still
made
in
the
Atlanta when OKC went to the NBA finals?
Something like that.
That's
OKC,
crazy.
yeah. So with that all being said, that was the difference. Because even though Draymond played like crap,
yeah,
he'd been there before. And that mental game that he played, he says it on his podcast. He says it multiple times. The moment I got into his head, I got you. And that's how I felt. The moment I saw Jaylen Brown up there talking about that, I was like, that's it.
But see, even that, right?
Like that's scared. You playing scared.
But the thing, he grabs the shorts in what, game 3?
And that was a close game.
It was a close game, but he grabs the shorts in game 3. Jaylen Brown balled the rest of that. Like, it's like you said, it's literally Jason Tatum playing that next level. And I think Jason Tatum put a lot of the pressure on himself by making a lot of the Kobe comparisons on the way to that.
For sure.
But at the same time, right? Like, hey, listen, if you're gonna if you're gonna have pressure on you, you might as well put it on yourself. But for me, I just think that, right, not to say experience doesn't play into it. Like, if they play it again, right, this season, it might be an entirely different thing. But you're dealing with a lot of the same things that you're talking about on the other side there. You do have Steph and Kerr and all of them that have been to the finals before. So that makes a big, big difference. I'm not saying it doesn't.
If I'm the Warriors, I do it.
It's still about being ready for the moment.
True.
And Wiggins didn't look like he wasn't ready for the moment. We've seen mugs that had balled the entire, and just not even the final. When the playoffs got there, he wasn't ready for the moment.
But there's a difference between having someone like Steph, Kerr, stuff like that. The type of confidence they can instill in you in those moments, totally different. There's nobody in the Celtics locker room would do that.
Right? Like, think about Miami.
Nobody could do that.
Like, I agree, but think about Miami on their run, right? Like, we saw dudes with LeBron that were balling all season, balling for a good chunk of the playoffs, just be gone in the final. You were like, hey, like, Mario Chalmers don't shoot no more. Like, he was like,
also saw usage rate of other players go up.
Well, because I think it's inverse of like, hey,
you're great, give you the ball
right now.
You know,
I gotta make this play. So for me, right, like I think kind of the base of this conversation was like, would I give up Zach and DeMar? I think to win, and we may look at it different, but I think like historically in the NBA, and maybe it'll change in the future, but I'm willing to bet on the history of what I've seen. We've never seen a team win outside of the Pistons without one of the best players in league history on it.
No, that's a fact.
And so for me, you have to take a gamble that you're going to have one of the best players in league history on your team over a ceiling that may be there for DeMar, a ceiling that may be there for Zach LaVine. And while both of them, listen, Tatum and Brown might have that ceiling. They still got to an NBA Finals. Clyde Drexler and why can't I think
of Terry Porter,
right? Like, there was that ceiling, and you also went up against Jordan, but there was that ceiling of like, Clyde Drexler don't win until he gets with a generational talent in Hakeem.
Yeah, but he also got there though.
He got there. Tatum and Brown got there. I'm not saying that Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan can't get there, and I think that's my point, right? Like, but when you get there and you start to look at your matchup, say the Bulls go up against the Warriors. And everybody's playing to the tip top of their talent. You're talking about, okay, we got Zach, you got Clay. Right now, Clay struggling a little bit. Zach can get it going. Boom. All right, he's got the 3 ball. We killing it. All right, you got Draymond. We got, I don't know, Patrick Williams. That's probably the one matchup where they winning right now. We got Vooch. You don't have a big man. James Wiseman is in the G League right now. Vooch is going to kill y'all big man. But then at the end of the day, when you get to Steph, we got Ayo Dosunmu. I love Ayo.
I think
that's not a winning matchup.
I think the rules of engagement when it comes to this have kind of changed. Like traditionally, yes, you need that all-star, that superstar.
Yeah.
But the thing is you need 3 stars.
Facts.
We're technically missing that 3rd star. Most people don't consider Vooch a star.
I
could argue it, but most people don't.
I can debate that.
It's a debatable thing.
I listen. The last few games, it makes it tough for it. It makes it a tough argument. But overall, I would consider Vooch a star level player in this league, seeing as how he just scores double. Like, bro, it's games where we just be like, Vooch got he's got 23
Vooch
and
has 19 and 19. Like,
I didn't know that was a thing right now.
I think right now, if we had a 3rd star, which is what everyone wants Patrick Williams to be,
wants P. Will to be, or Io, or
I can see Io being that. And if you think about it, Lonzo Ball at full strength would be our 3rd star.
Could be, yep.
You know, that's the difference here. And so I don't know if I would give up our 2 stars now, especially one that's 27, still, he's gotten better every season outside the season he's been injured. I don't know if I would give that up for Wembanyama to just start back at 0 realistically, because now who's going to want to come play with him? We don't know yet.
Well, and I think that's right. That's the decision that you have to make and realize that I can rebuild the organization around this. That's where, okay, AK, you got to do some wheeling and dealing on this. You can't just put Wembanyama out there and a host of others, right? You can't do the KD situation. The NBA is too good now. Like, the NBA in total is too good. You have to build a team. You can't just go out there with a star player no more. I would say this: the Brooklyn Nets team right now with Kevin Durant 10 years ago would be a number 1 seed.
I'm actually happy that you mentioned them, because I want to talk about what Kevin said and how people reacted to it. Because I don't think he said anything LeBron hasn't said or any other star.
I mean, like, let's do that. Let's see. Is there anybody else? Is there anybody else in the league? Because we did spend a little time on the Bulls. Is there anybody? I'm not giving up Luka for him.
There's nobody I would give up that's not already at the bottom.
I'm not giving up
the teams that are at the bottom that have stars. Like, if you're bottom 10 in the league,
I
would give up your star.
I think, to me, right. Well, I mean,
it's 30 plus teams. Right?
Here's the wild part. I would give up Kevin Durant for him, just because of his age. Because I know there's going to be a day where Kevin Durant can't play no more, and Brooklyn need to all the restart that they can get at this point.
Yeah, I would.
I would give up Kevin Durant for him. I would give up. I
want better for Kevin, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. Hey, you know why? I feel
I'm just sitting there like,
bro. Right. I don't have beef with nobody. I have more beef with the Nets. I mean, I guess I have beef with Kyrie's initial statements and just his, like, I'm never gonna come off of this stance because I didn't do anything wrong. It's like, bro, like, okay. Fine.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's fine with you.
The crowd behind Kyrie has gotten so much bigger when people like.
No, it's because the Nets are so stupid as well. Like, you have to just be like listen. You literally got to go, like Kyrie. Like we get what you said, but like I don't agree. But I but what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing, bro? Like,
Kyrie didn't say anything. That's the problem. Kyrie was minding his own baby business. He sent out a tweet with a little link on the thing. He didn't say, "Do you disagree with this?" You even said it yourself in a private conversation. You're like, "Didn't Kyrie get suspended for the same thing?"
No, that's because of Nick Wright basically tweeting out the anti-Semitic material that Kyrie got suspended for, and I'm like, ain't this the same thing?
Now,
but here's the thing. I also don't agree with Kyrie retweeting that, whether you say that or not, right? Like, when you hear what's in the documentary, I mean, you talked about, like, it's like there's a part that Kyrie can agree with. I can see where your mind might go down that path. The stuff around this, though, is wild.
I'm gonna give you some insight. So I was on Audible. You know, I'm a big audiobook person. Yeah. And top 5 is...
Man, I got 12 credits I need to spend.
Hey, bro, burn them. Top 5 books in the nation for the last week has been the same book that the author made the documentary off of. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I put out some fillers because I have a large Jewish community that works at my organization and stuff like that. Well, and works in the sphere of tech.
Yeah.
And some of them are like, I didn't see outside of just the Hitler quote what was hateful, but then he didn't say that. Like, the way he positioned it, he was like, I didn't hear him say that he felt like that against Jews. He's just quoting a historical figure who made a statement. And I was like, So he's like, I really don't know what's going on.
It's still, I can't follow that.
So with that being said,
whether
Kyrie
he's
didn't say
quoting
I agree with it.
whether
He didn't
he's
say I
quoting,
could.
yeah, it's one of those, right? It's like I think that's the tough part. It's like whether he's quoting it or not, it's like that's a wild statement.
Yeah, but if
Essentially
I don't say
saying,
I agree with it,
no,
then
I'm not.
Kyrie said I don't
No,
agree with
no.
it.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying like right, like Kyrie, you can have your free thought. You can
I'm
you can
saying
do
it like
whatever you
you, like
want.
Kyrie. Like if I'm saying I'm saying there's some things I don't agree with, but the conversation and all the rest of the stuff, and there's some found things to be said and found in it. I'm like, what are we talking about? Like realistically, you all just made this Arthur like the #1 bestseller in the last week simply because now everyone's trying to go find
Hate
it.
is gonna push you just as far as love will.
No.
Sometimes,
But
sometimes further.
no one is saying that it's hateful. That's the problem I'm having. People are actually picking up this book or actually listening to the book, like, all right, where's the hate? Like they're trying to find the hate. It's like, all right, where is it?
I think the documentary probably goes in a little bit more, but because I would assume that like if you're doing a documentary, you going in a little bit harder. But I also don't know, right? Because I
For
didn't sit
research
down.
purposes, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sit there and I'm
I
gonna
didn't
look at it.
sit down and break down, the documentary and all of that. So I'm not gonna act like I know everything that's in it. But the quotes that they pulled from it, I'm like, yeah, Kyrie, like you gotta know like that this is gonna happen around this.
Did you get a ESPN alert as we were doing this?
Do we got one?
Kyrie could rejoin the Nets as soon as Sunday.
Of course, because here's the thing, and this is the whole part of the conversation that irritates me the most, bro. And it's like Kyrie, I don't agree with what he did. I don't agree with him retweeting. I don't agree with him trying to act like because he posts something on social media, it's not a platform. You're not regular, dog. You're not a regular dude. You're not you like the whole right. Don't dehumanize me. I'm a person just like you are. Yes, but you are a very big person with a very big platform with a very big conversation around it. And whether you hate that or not, if you don't want to have that platform, you know what you can do very, very, very easily? Make your Twitter private. So I don't agree with his mindset around all of that. But at the end of the day, the Nets are so stupid that you messed up a team that had 2 top 15 players on it. And one of them is arguably the 3rd or 4th best player in the NBA. Possibly the 2nd best player in the
At the time that
I give him 3rd.
at the time they suspended Kyrie, both he and KD were averaging 30 and 31 points respectively. No, it was 27 and 31 respectively.
No, they both was above 30. They was 32.
Kyrie had a
and
bad
30.
game.
Oh
Had
yeah,
one bad
Io
game.
locked him up.
Io
Io
locked him up.
clamped him.
It dropped him.
Hey, another
It dropped
son.
him.
Hey, no, legit. Io's clamped up Kyrie every time they played. Kyrie's never scored more than 10 points on Io DeSumo.
That's what's up.
Hey, bro, I had to go. I was like, what the? What the world? No, this mother out here balling. Okay, all right, bet.
All that being said, getting back to KD.
They're so. I can't let the Nets off. They're so bad, bro. First off, let's just talk about
High is bad because he's very hypocritical. With
all of them. Let's talk about.
You heard what Jaylen Brown said about him?
Let's talk about it. Yeah, basically saying who do you think supports a lot of your stuff and all of that. Like you know the companies that are backing a lot of this stuff.
Easily see who you align with.
You know what I mean?
I'm like,
right?
Whoa.
Yeah, facts. And Jaylen Brown. Well, the thing with Jaylen Brown is he's a VP of the Players Association. I think Jaylen Brown is speaking out more about it than CJ is, at least publicly. I'm sure CJ is probably doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes because he's got to protect his legal rights and different things like that. But somebody got to speak up because what Joe Tsai is doing is not. I guess like you could see it as legal, but at this point, right, you're trying to make Kyrie grovel for his job, and I'm not okay with that. I'm also just from a basketball standpoint not okay with how you built this team. You said Kyrie, KD, y'all figure it out. We're not gonna give you a head coach. You know what I mean? Like we're not gonna give you any players that legitimately can go out there and guard for 40 minutes or 38 minutes. Like that, I think it's just such a poorly put together team. And like I was saying, right, like 10 years ago, that team would work. Just like we saw LeBron carry bad teams to the finals. Like we saw Kobe carry bad teams through the playoffs. Like we saw Jordan carry, I don't know if they were bad, but definitely mid for that era to the playoffs, right? And get beat by better teams.
Yeah.
You don't have that luxury in today's NBA. Because there's too many teams that have top level players that absolutely can go off of 30 every single night. And so you got to be able to do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I have no problems with how people are coming to the defense of Kyrie on the basketball landscape of it, because I know I can say that what you did was wrong, but he did the apology now. He's done the I want to speak with the Jewish community and learn more. He's doing all of that, right? He should not. You want to talk about somebody dehumanizing you? What Joe Tsai is doing is trying to dehumanize him and make him beg to come back to the Brooklyn Nets. And y'all ain't good enough for him to beg to come back to the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, he's a part of the reason why y'all ain't good enough, but y'all didn't build a good enough basketball team for him to need to beg to come back to the Brooklyn Nets.
I frankly beg to differ. And the reason why I beg to differ is, I've been very consistent on this. There were other players in the league that weren't vaccinated. There were other players in the league who only got one shot. It's been well documented. But they traveled to and from Brooklyn, no problem. So at one point,
that was a Brooklyn law, though.
It was one point.
Kyrie couldn't do nothing the NBA couldn't do nothing about that. Everybody wanted the league to be like, why can't Kyrie play? And I was like, because Brooklyn said if your tax ID comes back to New York, you can't play.
He lives in Jersey.
Or you can't work. Yeah.
He lives in Jersey, though.
Or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
No. I'm saying like Brooklyn's in New York. What do they play? They play in Jersey.
They play in Jersey. They still in Jersey.
Something was weird with it. Here's the thing. At one point, it wasn't a New York law. The president of basketball for the Nets said, no, you can't come unless
that's
you're
facts.
vaccinated.
Yes, that's facts. The Nets again, yeah.
And when he said that, there were players coming to play who weren't vaccinated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you could have simply said there's no player who's not vaccinated. And just like Toronto did, if you're not vaccinated, you can't come to Toronto.
The UC did that.
The UC did it.
Guess what? Did that. They said you can't. They say you can't come do nothing here if you're not vaccinated. Don't even get on the plane.
They were like, "Hey, no,
you just Kyrie,
and you can't do that."
And I think that's the part where I feel like you're trying to make him grovel again, right? Like that's the part where you're trying to show who's the boss.
You can't do stuff.
I don't respect that. That's the part to me where you're trying to show who's the boss because everybody else could come through and play. But you wanted to make Kyrie fit under your thumb.
It gets confused often when I sit there and I have these conversations. People think I'm defending Kyrie. I'm not defending Kyrie. I'm defending the fact that as, let's just say it, Americans, there are certain rights and ways that employee rights that we have, and some things just don't make sense. And honestly, it just didn't make sense.
But you know what? I'll say this: that's with everything though, because for my
I can sit there in a game, shake your hand, high five, be on the bench, no mask, but I can't play.
That and again, right? That's the Nets. I think that's like if we're gonna view it from the company aspect of it, that's a internal company issue. To me, that's a internal Brooklyn Nets issue. That doesn't affect the entire league. That's something that the Nets have personally with Kyrie Irving. Joe Tsai has personally with Kyrie Irving. At this point, you can't say it's not personal.
You can't say it's not personal.
That's something that he personally has with Kyrie Irving. I don't like when people try to blame the league or try to blame the entire right. Like what's Adam Silver going to step in and do? Like y'all have to understand that these are independent companies within a bigger conglomerate.
That's why the NBPA is there.
That's why the NBPA is there. And guess what?
Yeah.
They didn't say nothing. They didn't come to Kyrie's defense.
To be honest with you,
they didn't come. I mean, listen, that's your job. If you're the president of the NBPA, that's your job. You got to figure out what to say.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, no shade to CJ, and I don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes. Maybe he is saying this stuff a lot or not.
He's not as vocal as I would.
He's not as public about it.
Yeah.
And I think that you see other players be very public about it. And maybe the players like that, maybe they don't. I'm not going to criticize CJ on that, but I feel like a lot of this stuff would be, it would show a better defense if he publicly came out and he was like, you can't do that. and we will fight you tooth and nail that you can't do that.
If the VP of the association is saying it, then the president
the
of it
president is probably also saying it, but he's not. You know what I mean? Like he's not saying it publicly. But you also, right, like there's also the day-to-day of that he's also getting ready for a basketball game tomorrow.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
you sign up for that, though.
Absolutely. There's so much nuance that goes into that. And just from like being a part of a union before and seeing how unions step up and different things like that happen, right? Like I've been a part of bad unions. I've been a part of good unions. I've been in union meetings where somebody comes through and they like, hey man, you shouldn't have did that. And I'm sitting there looking at them like, it don't matter what I did. You're supposed to defend me. You on my side, right? Like you're legally on my side.
Your legal rep should have your union rep should have taken you to the side and
you don't tell me that in front of the big wig, right? Like and on the flip side of that, I've had muds that came in, bro. I'd never forget this dude, bro. I swear to God, it was Mick Foley. He was a line tech, and he had hair down his back, blonde hair, bro. He was giving it to my man. He was like, you are such a dumb, you don't even understand what this guy can do. You don't know what the work is. Bro, I was like, bro, if he pulls the sock out, I'm coming with the rock. Hey, bro, you pull the sock out, I'm coming with the rock. I got a rock bottom on you. Boom. You know what I mean? Bro. But like I think, right, like that's the part where I'm looking at the NBPA, where I'm looking at the Players Association, where I'm looking at, a lot of that, like, y'all got to get the nets in check. For sure. I have, I don't know, maybe it's a talent because some people just can't do it. I can look at what Kyrie did and say, I don't agree with what you did. I think that it's wrong. I can also look at the Nets and be like, he should not have to come back and grovel to you because you want to prove that you're the boss and you got money.
Facts.
And I think that's the part that a lot of people can't do. I feel like a lot of people are just like, either the Nets are wrong or Kyrie's wrong. And that's not how real world works. Both people can be wrong. Real world works. Both people can be wrong in a lot of situations.
For sure. I agree. So how it pertains back to Kevin Durant, though, is ultimately the statement was him pretty much running down the roster and say, you got these guys in 7 and you want to sit there and say, hey, and he said, no disrespect to them, but it's like.
It's so disrespectful, though. It is. Listen, it's disrespect, KD. You can't say no disrespect and then be like, it's me and y'all.
It was a disrespect.
Bro, you got the quote?
I'm going to get bored.
Read the quote, bro. Nah, the quote is definitely, bro, like, this the thing. If I'm a role player on your team, bro, and I'm trying my best and I'm just not as good as Kevin Durant is.
Now, the full quote is actually something different.
I'm going to sit there and take it as a little bit of disrespect, bro, because that mess had me dying. Like, essentially, while kids looking it up, I think the gist of it is, he basically says, you guys, you're expecting the world from a team that has me and Royce O'Neal and they don't even have Brown anymore. He basically names his teammates that are in the starting lineup with him. Yuta Watanabe. And he said, what did y'all think?
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, drop the quote.
He said, look at our starting lineup. Edmund Sumner, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, Claxton, and me. It's not disrespect, but what are you expecting from that group? You expect us to win because I'm out there? So if you're watching from that lens, you're expecting us to play well because number 7 is out there. That's the quote.
Hey, bro, listen.
I don't even know who Sumner is.
Listen.
It ain't wrong.
I get what he's saying. There's nothing wrong about the statement, but you definitely just basically said, these mugs suck and it's me. I'm supposed to win with this. Bro, that's the equivalent of calling out your team at Export. Which is my favorite thing. You know what? Kevin Durant will always be one of my favorite athletes of all time, bro.
Because you know who I am.
Not even that.
That quote to me is crazy.
He looks at playing in the NBA like he really just going to hoop for a couple hours and then come back and get on the game. Like, and he's amazing at the game. But bro, when he talks and when he reacts to stuff and it cracks me up because he's just like, hey bro, listen. I'm me. But they're them. And them ain't gonna equal up to me being great. I heard that quote, and I'm not even tripping on him for it. Again, I look at the Brooklyn Nets and I say y'all put a awful team together. I also think that Kevin Durant may or may not have played his role in that. He probably picked the wrong player to keep around. Because I think with how James Harden is playing right now, if you made a move, but also, right, like, I can't say that he was all in on Harden either, but I also can't say for, like, the haul of picks that they got back that they wouldn't have just been like, yeah, we don't really care, Kevin. Like, we're going to make this trade.
Yeah, they got good picks back.
They got picks. They got players. They got.
And if you look at when Steph Curry is playing, Steph went off in the games
Steph
they won.
Balling. Steph can play. This, bro, Seth, I've always said Seth can play. Bro. Seth can shoot. Seth can shoot just like Stephen Curry, but nobody, and not as far. I ain't gonna say that. He can't shoot as deep as Steph. But
I think he shoots just as good from three.
No, but he can't shoot as deep. Like Seth ain't pulling up from like the logo and walking away from it. But I also can't say that Seth Curry has always had the same opportunity that Steph has. Like, I don't even remember a team that he started on.
That's a fact.
I don't remember a team he started on.
You speaking now. You cooking now.
Well, I guess he started on Philly, but I thought he was cooking in Philly. And he also wasn't the focal point of that team. He was giving that to Joel Embiid.
He was averaging 15 points a game. You cooking now.
Yeah, basically not being the focal point. I think position is everything.
Facts, you be speaking facts.
I think positioning is everything, bro. Legit. I think like when CJ talked about that, right? Like I believe it was CJ. I want to say it was on the JJ Redick podcast. And he basically said that when you get put into a role player box, it's almost impossible to get out of it. Because that's what they look at you as.
Can I give you an interesting fact?
Let's do it.
When you think the last time Steph Curry shot under 40% from like hear me out.
Steph Curry's a better shooter than Steph is.
He has not shot.
Statistically, he's a better shooter than Steph is.
He has not shot under 40% his entire career.
Now, I will say this. Shots taken does matter. How many you take does matter. And his own brother has said this to him. There's a reason you don't get to get them shots. So maybe Steph and them us know that we don't. But
last season, he averaged nearly 7 shots a game, 7 threes a game, 6.5.
Yeah. That's Steph.
He shot 46%.
Yeah. No. I know it. Yeah, he's a hooper. I wanted Seth. Everybody was sitting there tweaking. I was like, go get Seth Curry to be a starting point guard. Most was looking at me crazy. They was like, I guess
he's not a point guard for him.
I'll agree with them on it. Well, neither is Steph if we're gonna put it under that. Like they the same build. But I think the one thing that I will say that Muzz was killing me, they was like, our backcourt defense would be awful. It would be terrible. It would be god awful. We would get cooked by everybody in the backcourt for sure. But Seth Curry to me is a player that can make a difference on that Brooklyn Nets team, but you do have to have the right coach to make that team better. And while I like the guy that they brought in, I like the name they brought in, I don't think that that's going to be it.
Man, they didn't bring nobody in. They just promoted somebody that was already there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They gave him the job. I love the fact. I love how he said it. So I want him to be successful for if any reason, just because he said I wasn't my wife's first choice either. And I've been married 20 years.
No, I didn't like that. That felt like we ain't got the right coach. That's what that felt like.
Hey, bro,
like, no, you weren't even winning at home. God damn. I don't. Hey, listen, this is over before it begins. No, baby, I don't want that. Winners.
Come on, bro.
I want winners. I don't want that. Come on,
winners.
So you just good with being second place. I can't do that.
I look at Kevin Durant's team,
bro. I hate to do this right now, but I have to jump.
Oh, that's cool, bro.
I do have to jump.
Bro, so listen, we were supposed to be going. We were supposed to do an hour. We always do this. Oh, we got an hour. It's an hour and a half show, bro.
It's been an hour and a half, bro.
It's all good, man. Hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in for another episode. We hope y'all super fans enjoyed this, man. We want to give y'all this content once a week. Hopefully, just random conversation like this. Sometimes it might not even be about sports, honestly. It just might be about whatever the biggest topic is. So we appreciate. Oh, yeah, we don't do everything on this mug, man. Hey, this is the Views from Bleachers podcast. If you don't agree with our viewpoint, man, you might just be sitting in a different section. Y'all stay safe out there, man. Peace.